In this video we're going to look at credit cards. Now credit cards can be good and also can be bad. They're good in case of an emergency where you desperately need cash that you otherwise wouldn't have. They're bad because they have very high interest rates. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at home loan interest rates, we'll look at car loan interest rates, and we'll compare these to credit card interest rates. Now what you need to understand is that interest rates change all the time. The interest rates that are current as of today are completely different to the interest rates that we will have next year. So I'm just going to show you a rough idea of what the interest rates could be. So for a home loan, it could be something around 5% per annum. For a car loan, it might be between 8 and 10% per annum. So you notice that the car loan has higher interest rates. And then for a credit card, it jumps up really high, between 15 and 20% per annum. So we can see that credit cards have a much higher interest rate than home loans and even car loans. So why do they do that? Well, they do it because of a thing called security. Home loans and car loans have security attached to them. That means that if you don't pay them, you're going to lose something. For a home loan, if you don't pay your loan, they're going to take your house. For a car loan, if you don't pay your loan, they're going to take your car. But for a credit card, if you're not paying your loan, there's not a lot that they can take from you here. I also want to mention something you might hear about called interest-free days. So if we look at the credit card on the left, this one has up to 55 days interest-free. And we're going to talk about that more in detail in a later video. But I just want to mention that when you get cards with interest-free days, usually the interest rate is going to be higher again. So one without interest-free days will usually be maybe more around 15%, whereas one with interest-free days could be anywhere up to 20%, for example. Okay, so let's talk about some terminology when we're talking about credit cards. The first thing I want to talk about is called a statement period or a billing cycle. Now, a statement is basically a bill. So here's our bill here. This is called a statement. You'll notice on the top right corner of your statement, it has what is called a statement period, which ranges from the 1st to the 31st of October. This is basically the time period which your bill or statement covers. Alright, the next thing we want to talk about is called the payment due date, which is down here. Your payment is due on the 24th of November. It just means if you don't pay by this date, you're going to get charged some sort of a fee. Also below that, it has what's called its minimum payment. That's the minimum amount that you need to pay by this date. Another thing we want to look at is called the purchase date, and we don't see any on this bill. Maybe it would have been on the back page. When we're talking about purchase date, we're talking about items that you've purchased and the date in which you purchased them for. So let's say on the 2nd of October, that would be your purchase date, you purchased some groceries, for example. And on your bill it might say, well, you spent $50.63 on groceries. Usually somewhere on your bill you'll have a list of items you've purchased and the purchase date in which you purchased these. Anyway, that concludes our video just introducing credit cards and some terminology. Remember to read the description below for links to workbooklets that relate to this video.